Namaste. The light and love of the divine in me honors and greets the light and the love of the divine in each and every one of you here. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Awakening Way spiritual community as we are now virtually amazing, as always. This is a remarkable community. We are a New Thought spiritual community in the lineage of Dr. Ernest Holmes. And, most of you who are here on this call know what it is that we believe. And we believe in, just a couple of words. We believe in life. We believe in goodness. We believe in happiness and joy. We believe in peace and love. We believe in community. We believe in so many things that are life affirming, because that's what this New Thought teaching is all about. And Ernest Holmes believed that, as he was called the great synthesizer, and he was called that because he spent his time looking at so many of the ancient faiths, and as part of that looking, as part of that seeking, as part of that studying, he noticed that there were threads of truth, these little, well, not so little, but these grand spiritual ideas that kind of wove themselves through all of these great teachings from the past. And so this New Thought teaching is a culmination of all of that work, where it is a combination of spiritual traditions from long, long ago and newer spiritual traditions from today. And the basis of it all is this, what do I want to say? It's this group of spiritual truths that we can learn to live our lives by. And so this community has classes and meditations and gatherings like this. It has prayers. It has so many ways that we can come together and we can begin to study these ancient truths. And they don't sound archaic. They sound very usable, because they're things like what I mentioned: how to live life fully, how to understand that there's only one power and one presence in the universe, one creator, whatever we call that, and to learn to understand and to believe and to live from a place of knowing that we are part of that infinite, indivisible wholeness. And how wonderful it is to know, to understand, and to live from that place. Life looks very, very different from that perspective, very different from that perspective, rather than from dualism. So that is one of our main focuses, is that unity, that oneness of life itself. And so I know that many of you came here this morning because you come here all the time, and we're grateful that you do. And we're grateful for that. But whatever it is that brought you here specifically this morning, and wherever you go when this little session is over with, for this precious moment in time, welcome home. We've been waiting for you. Thank you for being here. We hope you had a Merry, Merry Christmas. We're kind of in that space now between Christmas and New Year's. And so today promises to be a fabulous, wonderful, wonderful morning. And we're glad that you're here. And I'd like to, before we get going, I'd like to do a reading from Dr. Holmes this morning, and then have a brief invocation before the music and Dr. Frank begins this morning. So listen to what Dr. Holmes says. He says, everything in the universe is a unique individualization or expression of the one thing that is the cause of all things. No two blades of grass are alike. No two grains of sand, no two thumbprints, no two of anything are alike, and nothing ever exactly reproduces any other thing. This means that the one ultimate cause is pressing against every individualization, flowing through it or him or her, and that every event in the finite has an infinite possibility behind it. And so that's the truth. And if you will, just join me in a moment of prayer. And I invite you to just allow your eyes to softly close. And just take a couple of deep, deep in breaths, filling your lungs completely. And then exhaling completely. Just refresh yourself in this moment. Allow yourself to be present, conscious, aware, and relaxed. There's nothing to do right now except to just allow yourself to be here in this moment, experiencing and being aware. And so I know that for each and every person, this morning promises to be a great, grand, and glorious blessing. I know that that one power and that one presence and that one divine and infinite intelligence is moving through Dr. Frank this morning. His words of wisdom and love pour forth from him so easily and effortlessly, and we all open to receive and gather in all of that incredible wisdom and love. I know that whatever it is that is moving in us to come forth this morning rises easily and effortlessly too, for we are here today to experience the gifts of the morning. This is God's day, and it is perfect in all ways. And so I give my thanks for this beautiful and perfect day, with the perfect words, with the perfect music, with the perfect people on this perfect day. And letting it all be, I just let it go and say, and so it is. Amen.
I release all that is unlike love. Today I judge nothing that happens. And if things go bad, I don't feel sad. I just let it be, let it be perfect for me. I embrace all that is good in the world. Today I hold everything sacred. When I feel low, I let it all go. I just let it be perfect for me. Today I embrace all that's good in my life. Today I love everyone as equal. And if things go wrong, I just remember this song, and I let it be perfect for me. It's all perfect in my world.
Good morning, everyone. So to reiterate, you're going to need the form. I release to spirit all concerns about form. You'll need this in a pen as we go through the burning bowl ceremony. At the beginning of this year, I set some goals for myself. After doing the burning bowl, I set them in the intention, both as a person and as a minister. You probably did the same thing if you were here last year. This last Sunday of the year is a time to look back at the year and see whether we fulfilled our intentions, whether we lived it out. Now, this past year has been so squirrely that we probably didn't meet our intentions for the year. But we could ask ourselves, did I reach the goals I wanted to reach to become what I want to be? What steps did I take toward becoming that person? It's not enough to have an intention. I have to take some action in the inner as well as the outer world that will manifest it. What do I need to embody to become the person that will reach that goal then? What do I need to become or to learn to become the person I want to be? And finally, what am I willing to surrender to be able to release or heal or forgive to become that person? Ralph Waldo Trine, the old-time New Thought metaphysician, asked this question: have you fully realized that life is, after all, merely a series of habits, and that it lies entirely within one's own power to determine just what that series will be? The hardest things to give up are those patterns that we believe define us and yet are no longer moving us in the direction of our goal. Nothing could be more fundamental or more difficult than changing patterns of a lifetime, habits of a lifetime, habits of belief that keep us from becoming the person that we need to be to evolve into that higher consciousness that is our reason for being here on the planet. Our lives are merely outward extensions of the beliefs that we hold. And those beliefs are habits of thought that control every part of our lives, including our faith, including our relationship to spirit. The end of the old year is the perfect time to recognize that the only changes that truly matter are the changes we make on the inside, and all else follows from there. We can change whatever we want. We can change our job. We can change our car. We can change our home. We can change where we live. We can change our partner. But ultimately, the only change that matters are those changes of thought and belief about our lives that make our decisions for us. So today, we do the burning bowl. Is it a symbolic, psychological gesture to help us release those old patterns and habits of thought? Yes, of course it is. But it's also an ancient spiritual practice, reminiscent of Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, whatever you do, make it an offering to me. Today, we bring to spirit our sacrifice, the sacrifice of our old patterns of thought, our old patterns that no longer work in our lives. And this thing we call the burning bowl is no modern ooga booga. It's simply a modern version of an ancient practice of Judaism that was called burnt offerings. In this ceremony in Judaism, an animal was brought to the temple for offering. It was usually a young goat, and in it was slaughtered. In the ceremony, it was slaughtered, and then it was burnt upon the altar. And it was allowed to burn completely away. And it was a gift to God for the purpose of bringing God's gift of good to the one doing the offering. When we do the burning bowl today, we can't be in community in any literal physical way like we usually are, that allows the group energy to uplift us and bring us to that higher consciousness of true sacrifice to God. We're all in our own individual homes, and the energy, the consciousness we bring to it has to be our own. And so there are things that we have to do to prepare ourselves for making such a sacrifice. First, we need to be very, very careful about the tendency to take back the condition or habit of thinking while we're in the very act of offering it to Spirit. We do that when we're kind of wishy-washy about sacrificing it to our highest good, because we're not really done with it or don't really believe it can be healed by the power of Spirit within us. That kind of offering is simply called a New Year's resolution, and it'll be broken by the end of January. Secondly, Jesus said, therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there and go your way. First, be reconciled with your brother and then come and offer your gift. Now, for most of us, it's not a question of being reconciled with a brother. But it may be that we are having other things on our mind that amount to the same thing. When we're bringing our sacrifice to the burning bowl, it's important to remember that we are focused only on the gift that we bring. In other words, our full consciousness should be in this moment, in this gift. If we have other problems, plans, or fears about anything else, we need, as Jesus said, to leave our gift before the altar, go our way, and deal with all other concerns or thoughts in our minds, clearing our minds in preparation for making our gift. The burning bowl sacrifice of old limitations to Spirit so we can evolve requires absolute commitment and focus on our part. This is especially true if one person or one circumstance upon which we've been obsessing that is different from what we're releasing. Perhaps we need to rethink what we're trying to release. Our first step then is to move into consciousness and release everything but that which we desire to change, that heart's desire for this coming year, and all other thoughts, beliefs, and concerns are being released. For most of us, there's one specific one that stands in the way of our evolutionary progress. So please join me right now, if you will, in the silence for a few moments, closing your eyes. Taking a couple of deep cleansing breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Pay attention only to your breath and to my voice in these next few moments as you relax. Now, any thoughts that arise other than that which you wish to release, just say to them, I'll think about this later, but not now. Breathe into it. And allow your mind to to be cleared. And continue doing this until your mind has quieted. And then return quietly to the room. When we do our burning bowl today, we won't be in community in that literal sense. And in terms of the old Scrooge metaphor, we've brought the chains of our old habits of thought with us. It's time to let them go. So get the burning bowl form that you printed out from the announcement, the email announcement for this week, or the one that you've already done, along with your pen. Now, you should not already have filled this out, because what we're giving up is an act of deep consciousness, not something that's flippantly thought of off the top of our heads. It may turn out that the two are the same thing. But for right now, let's just have a blank piece of paper next to us with a pen. And move back into the silence again with a couple of deep breaths. Now we ask ourselves, what is the experience of my life that I most wish to change this year? And let that come up. It will. From your subconscious. Don't try to make it happen. It may be something that you didn't even expect. And then ask yourself, what's the old habit behind it? You may not know specifically, but for now, that's all right. Simply be willing to surrender whatever the belief is that creates the specific experience that you're ready to get rid of. Remember, it has to be about you. It can't be about the world. It can't be about the COVID in the world or the political situation or anything else. It can only be about you, your habits of thought and belief, about this thing. And now, when you have it, when it has really become clear to you, fill in the blank with that one habit or condition you wish to release this year to allow the healing to occur. Okay. Everybody ready? I'm highlighted, so I can't see you all right now. But I'm going to assume that you have all finished it. When you're done, just hold it in your hand and speak these words. I release, I release, I release. Now take that piece of paper and very reverently and slowly, with your full attention on it, rip it in half, symbolizing you're letting go of this, and then hold it in your hands like you're joining me in prayer, which you are, because we're going to pray now. And then when our gathering is over, I want to invite you to dispose of the part of the paper, that piece of paper with reverence. Take it outside to the driveway or parking lot, burn it, let the breeze take the ashes away of your sacrifice to heaven, to the heavens, or whatever you choose to do. But for right now, please join me in prayer while we still hold our paper. I know that there is a divine pattern, a divine cycle of good in the universe. It flows through each and every living being. The perfection of spirit flows through each of us, available to each and all. When we accept it, when we stay focused upon it. I know that that is my truth. I know that it is truth for every single person here. That when we focus upon the truth of our oneness with the divine and that perfect pattern, that perfect cycle of love and life flowing through us, then our lives reflect that perfection. And so right here and right now, I know for myself and I know for everyone on this call that I release into the burning bowl of spirit as a sacred burned offering my release form, which holds that old belief about myself and the conditions of my life. I release it. I release it now. And I know that it is gone and gone completely. It is forever eliminated as I stay focused on the evolution of my life. And as it's true for me, I know it's true for everyone else. That as we focus on the practices and patterns and on changing those old habits of belief, those habits of belief disappear, and with them, the conditions that we're concerned about. It's as automatic as breathing in and breathing out. I give thanks that this is true. I give thanks for this great gift of spirit that we are able to not just change our habits of thought and belief, but change our entire lives as a result. I give thanks for that. I give thanks for all of the teachings of New Thought that we have that have brought me to this conclusion and this place. I give thanks for this burning bowl ceremony that helps me to focus my attention on releasing. I have spoken my word of love and law. There's nothing more I need do, for the law has acted. And so right here and right now, I let it go, knowing that for each of us, those old habits of thought and belief are gone, ashes in the breeze. And so I release and I let go, and I say, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can see, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it all go. You got to let it all go. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
I love that, Jimmy TV. Thank you so much, Dr. Frank, for allowing us the opportunity to get clear and to release what it is that's preventing us from having the life that we desire. It was fabulous. And thanks to the musicians this morning, to Jimmy and Karen, and all the vocals on the I Release song. Thanks to Ron. We are so grateful to have you back in our midst. Welcome home. Thank you to all of you who, in these troubled times and in these tough times, continue to provide us with your ongoing support by being here on Sundays, by financially supporting us, by spreading the word about who we are and where we are. We are so very, very grateful to you and for you for being there for us. And we just continue to do what we can and to do what we do. So thank you. It's because of you that we are here. Thank you for that. I wanted to remind you that Jan introduced this last week. She mentioned that we're going to be reinstituting our Jars of Inspiration fundraiser. We did this last spring with quotes from various spiritual writers. And you took the jars home and they had all the little quotes in them. And then every day you would take a quote out and you would read it. And then the idea is then based on how blessed you felt, and you would put an offering back into the jar. You would replace the note that you took out with a financial offering back into the jar. And then after 50 days, which is how long the period lasts, after 50 days, you return the jars to us, or you take the money out and you count it, and um, you send a check or whatever to Awakening Ways that reflects what the money that was in your jar. We were pleased and amazed that it was so well received. And this year we're going to do 50 days of spiritual affirmations. So every day you'll get a spiritual affirmation that came from the heart and minds of our soul support team. They're on there for you to use daily. I often find with affirmations that if I find one that I really like, I have a hard time giving it up. So you may keep one of them maybe a couple of days because it's really awesome. But there's going to be 50 fabulous affirmations for you to use for your lives and to help you stay in spiritual consciousness, because that's the idea. 50 days of immersion in spiritual consciousness with this daily practice. So we're going to be distributing the jars on Saturday, January 16th over at the office. As Jan said last week, it's going to be a drive-through where we're going to have the jars out in front of the office, and then people can just drive in, and we'll come out to your car and we'll hand you the jar and then say hello and off you go. We recognize that maybe not everyone will be able to come on that day. We hope as many as possible will be able to come on that day, and we'll let you know about the hours and so on probably next week. And we will probably have to set up a couple of other dates as well for people who could not make it on that day, because we want all of you to be able to have the opportunity to have these 50 days of spiritual affirmation. So we'll let you know more about it. Also a reminder that today was our burning bowl, and next week is our intention setting Sunday. So next week we will be setting an intention for 2021. So you have from now until next Sunday to be thinking about what it is that you want to set for an intention for yourself for the new year. And give yourself time to let this kind of perk for the week. You know it's coming up on Sunday, and and come Sunday when we do the ceremony, what you thought was going to be may be totally different, but at least allow yourself the opportunity to explore what it is that's moving in you, that heart's desire for 2021. Also a reminder that our prayers continue. The soul support team never stops praying. We are always in some form of prayer. That's kind of the nature of being a practitioner or a minister. It's kind of this atmosphere that we dwell in. And so we will pray for you always. If there's something moving in you, something that's up for you, maybe during these holidays even, and you need extra prayer support, just send an email to awakeningways@thegrid.org. I'm never sure if it's grid.org, but there's an address at the end of this gathering. And on your subject line, just say this is a prayer request, and we will hold you in prayer for the week. If you find that you need additional prayer support around this idea or this trouble, then let us know and send us another prayer request, and we will hold you for the week following. Also know that if you're requesting prayers for someone else, that it's best that you get their permission. Ask them if they want prayer support around this issue. You know, it's a rare thing that people don't want prayer support, but for some, that isn't comfortable for them. So just be sure that you check that out and ask them, is it okay if I ask our prayer support team to pray for you? And that's all you have to do. So this week is another week of that, like I said, that wonderful in-between place where the old is fading and the new is coming. And kind of the Christmas holiday energy has died down a little bit. And there's kind of this resting, this resting to see what is coming, to see what is rising. So allow yourself to explore intentions for this week. And with that, I want to invite you just for a moment to join me in a closing benediction, a closing prayer. It's been a wonderful morning. So if you will, just allow your eyes to softly close and notice how easily and effortlessly your eyes just close. And just notice your breath and just feel that relaxation, knowing that you have released something within you that was so ready to be gone. And so it is released from you forevermore. And so in this moment, I give thanks. I give thanks for the gifts of this morning, for the blessings of this day. I am so grateful for each and every one of us to be free from that block, that barrier, that obstacle that has been preventing us from living the life that we truly want to live. I celebrate its release and its return into the ethers of the universe, knowing that it will be recycled and reused in a new and positive way. And I feel that for each and every one of us, this breath that we breathe, this new breath, is deeper and fuller because of this letting go. What a blessing. And knowing that each and every day is better and better. That each and every day we are more and more free and more blessed and more healthy and happy. I give my thanks for this. I give my thanks for this life that we have been given, this life that continues to unfold in goodness. I celebrate it all and I let it be so. And so it is. Amen.